So we're now going to move on to have a bit of a question and answer session with Nick Greenwood. And what I'm going to do is ask Nick a few questions, and hopefully Nick can demonstrate the answers by putting his version of Chorus up. So a version that Nick's logged on to, working on live projects that Maber Architects are working on.
Hi Nick, can you
say a little bit about your role and about Maber Architects?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working for Maber Architects for nearly 2 years now as an architectural designer. So I've got backgrounds with the NBS. I was on the NBS advisory panel for 2 years, helping develop the Create specification tool. Seems a long time ago now. Day to day, I've used NBS Building, NBS Create, and I'm obviously now working on Chorus. So got a rich background in the NBS tools. Practice-wise, we're a practice of Mac users, and we run ARCHICAD on our Macs. So we have had some problems in the past with using NBS products, but now Chorus has relieved all of those issues.
Okay, thank you. So Nick, in terms of the structure of a specification, what are your opinions on common arrangement of work sections versus Uniclass 2015 structure?
Okay, so obviously CORS is a very familiar and well-recognised system within the industry. It goes back a long way. It's relatively simple to use and has the kind of the checklist method. So you take out the stuff that you don't want, just trying to leave the stuff that you do want. I suppose of its time it was good, but certainly now you find that products end up in different sections, and the connectivity isn't really what it can be compared to the Uniclass 2015 system, which is obviously hyperlinked. It's aimed directly at the model elements that we're using within our 3D packages, and yeah, it just sits very well, I think, with the tools that we have available today. So I can just give you a quick example of that. So if we look at this specification here, which was written for a primary school project, this is F10 brick block walling. You can see that obviously the sections, some of the sections are filled in, and then we've had to go through and manually omit bits of the specification that we don't want to see. And really, the only way to get to the sections that you're looking for is to scroll through the entire specification. However, if we look at the 2015 section for a similar masonry external wall, we can see that we have product here, cement gauge mortars, bricks, etc., that are all hyperlinked. We have system performance clauses as well, which we can jump directly to, and obviously then start to edit, which again is very useful. And this system contains all of the information that we would expect to see for that system. So system performance, products, and then finally at the very bottom we have the system completion, which again we can jump directly to.
Now, how do you use NBS differently depending on the need for either traditional specification or specification that's informing a contractor design portion?
Okay, so the section that I have open at the minute, in terms of masonry external leaves, would be one where we would generally tend to specify more traditionally. So jumping to a brick selection, you can see how we're specifying the manufacturer and the product references for the bricks that we want to use. Now, these are obviously generally incorporated within planning decision notices, etc. So we have to be fairly specific about the products that we're using. We could also reference examples such as curtain walling, which we'll come on to later. That's often something we will generally pick up within a more traditional specification. Something that we would tend to look at in terms of a more performance-based specification would be something such as the accessible WC packages. So here we can see we've got a title, contractor's choice on the manufacturers, or a system reference. So we're expecting the contractor to go away and provide proposals based on that. But we're giving him a kind of set of design parameters that he has to adhere to in terms of the specification for that particular system.
Is it possible to show how you'd use NBS Chorus to add manufacturer information to your specification?
Yeah, certainly, Stephen. So I think I'll look at the curtain walling system after this. So we'll go to the stick curtain walling system, and in the kind of outline section of the specification, we can click within the manufacturer information, the system manufacturer here, and go to the products section, where we can see an array of manufacturers' information that we can choose from. So perhaps Technal is the system that I'm looking to specify on this job. Highlight the Technal, read some of the performance information that's provided by the manufacturer, and then we can choose to add this system into our specification. And then you'll see how the outline of that specification has changed, and it gives us manufacturer's information that we can add into this system to ensure that we're getting the correct specification.
Now, on a project, there's information that you'd add to your model that you generate drawings from. There's also information that you'd add to the specification. How do you make sure that both are synchronized and cross-reference each other correctly?
Okay, so for that we'll look at ARCHICAD. Hopefully this. In terms of adding specification to this model, I'm going to look at annotating or using the annotation for the curtain wall system that we've just specified. So in the ARCHICAD model, we'll select curtain wall element. We can then go over to the Chorus Connect add-on for ARCHICAD, select the stick curtain walling systems, and click Associate. If we then interrogate the curtain wall element within ARCHICAD, we can see that the specification is now embedded within the selection settings for this curtain wall element.
So, hi Nick, can you show a little bit about how you use the specification information in, say, your schedules?
Yeah, sure. So let's add some specification information to these plant room doors along this elevation here. So this one is going to be metal door sets type A. I'm going to associate that that door to this specification here, and then I'm also going to associate these doors to the metal door sets type B because they're slightly different. So we've associated those specification clauses with those doors. We can now open up the external door list to see how that information comes through onto the schedule. So here we can see that the chorus code, the chorus title, and the clause suffix have all been added to this door schedule.
Thanks a lot, Nick. And just to finish off on, you've obviously used NBS for a number of years, from NBS Building to NBS Create to now NBS Chorus. What's your overall first experiences been like with NBS Chorus?
Personally, I found the transition from Create to Chorus very natural. The interface is very similar, with much improved functionality in terms of the search, etc., etc. The specification of individual products, activities, and system completion clauses is really, really useful. But I think, moreover, from a practice point of view, those that haven't used Chorus before have certainly found it very easy to pick up and work with minimal tuition. They've been able to generate quite comprehensive specifications in a short period of time. So it's been a real benefit for us as a practice, being able to generate these complicated documents rapidly and with little training.
And do you typically have sort of like one expert specification writer at Maber, or do you share the duties out and sort of collaborate together on the work?
So I spent some time generating masters for the practice in Create, which we have uploaded into Chorus. We are using some of those throughout the business, but generally people are responsible for generating their own specification information with some support from either myself or other more advanced users within the individual offices.
Thanks very much, Nick. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.